Rabbids Coding is a free PC game where you use Scratch-style programming to solve puzzles. You place blocks of codes to control Rabbids and robots, moving them around to clear a space station of pesky Rabbids and their mess. You progress from learning the very basics of how this coding system works to more complex and nested coding over 32 levels. The idea is that you slowly master and expand on your programming skills, making the process accessible to even the biggest of coding noobs. There's different goals depending on what characters are in the level, but the core of what you're doing always remains the same. You control one character and program its movements using code blocks. Mind-controlled rabbits need to be led to washing machines to be banished from the space station. Robots vacuum up items while avoiding bombs, or drop sausages on buttons to disable force fields and lure rabbits. And drones can pick up Rabbids and transport them for you. All this is done by placing blocks of code into a sequence and then pressing play to see how that code plays out. An indicator shows you which code block is currently being used to help you understand how everything works and where your mistakes are. Although this was handy, I really wanted to be given more direction and explanation. The game only really goes over the basics. These basics include loops, which allow you to repeat a set of instructions automatically. When used correctly, they can take care of a lot of the heavy lifting for you. Which brings me to my biggest gripe of the game. There's clearly a best, most efficient way to code, but there's no answers to check your work against. There were times when I could get it to work, but it just didn't feel like I'd done it in the most efficient way possible. I would have liked to be shown best practice. The end result was I didn't feel like I was learning as much as I could be, and this was all the more frustrating when I got to the if-then blocks. An if-then block commands your unit to perform a certain task if specific conditions are met, such as turn left or right if possible. But these still trigger in the order of your entire coded sequence. I wanted to have it work persistently, but I had no idea how to use that or if it's even possible, so I felt like I was maybe using it wrong. And I feel like this is the main thing that Rabbids coding is lacking, something that shows you a cleaner way to code. I don't just want to learn how to move a character from A to B, I want to learn how to program beautifully. And because it's such a slow ramp up from the basics, it feels like the game has you spending a lot of time using clunky solutions. Each level has an objective for the number of blocks used, and gives you a 3-star rating according to how well you've done. I found it pretty easy to get a 3-star rating on basically every level. I even finished one with less blocks than the objective, but there was no special bonus or anything. However, the objective does at least give you a bit of an indicator of your coding efficiency. Now, while I'm calling this a game, and it does have puzzle elements, it's probably more accurate to think of Rabbids coding as a really slick guide to learning coding basics. It focuses on a rather narrow set of instructions and goals, but it does it all with such visual pizzazz that you kind of feel like you're part of creating a big budget video game. It's a clever system. Turn programming into a puzzle and suddenly it seems easier to figure out. It's a coding lesson in such a cool video game wrapping that you do feel like you're playing more than you're learning. So the question is it effective in teaching you? Well, yes and no. It's a great way to dip a toe into the world of programming, but it doesn't take you very far. I would have loved more expansion, something that teaches you how to code a controllable character, for example. As it stands, it feels like you're doing slight variations of the same thing for 32 levels, and not learning as much as I feel you could be. As a spruced up way to learn how to code though, it's free, it's fun, and it's a decent place to start. I'm giving Rabbids coding 3 out of 5 rubber chickens.